Este va con este.
The pieces of the puzzle are final.
Volvió a mencionar, había visto Ernesto en la biblioteca. Entonces, ¿este qué?
Come, my little Grace.
Sí, ¿este qué?
I must take a different approach. I cannot see the logic in this. Things are beginning to be...
Mago afirma que Zacarías es ausente en el salón, pero Gregorio no lo mencionó. ¿Ella puede corroborar haberlo visto en aquel momento? Habla con Hugo y habla con Zacarías.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Apenas me versión de los hechos.
I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon?
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
¿Qué hay con...?
I think that is all for now.
Y ahora con Hugo.
Whatever you require,
Su versión de los hechos.
I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Es un hombre valiente y seguro de sí mismo, pero a la hora de la verdad se achanta.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation. Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demire in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me, and
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, Detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that state.
Ok. Ay. Vaya por Dios. Bueno, yo voy a dejarlo así si lo queréis leer. Yo no pienso leer toda esta mamada. Pues aquí. ¿Y ya? No te muevas que se mueve lo que sale nuevo. Por abajo no hay nada. Ok, ya vi. Luego vio a Ernesto de pasada.
Is there something? I must
No.
act on thought.
Entonces, está acá.
What a revelation!
Uy, en esto confirma la presencia de otro en la biblioteca.
Another success. I never doubt.
Uy, Ernesto, ya que confirma su versión de los hechos, debo buscar responsable en otra parte. Acá. Archiva vio aquella cuando se ausentó. Ok. Aquí.
Order and method. That is the... I must take a different approach. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming to...
Archiva confirma haber visto a Zacarías fuera del salón, aunque de pasada.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Gregorio, Zacarías y Magau consideran en el salón. Tiene que haber otro culpable. Pero los invitados han confirmado las coartadas de los demás, con solo ligeros minutos de diferencia. Esto sí que no me lo esperaba. Ay, que ha sido Cassandra o Angelina esa, Jolie. Me lo noto más por la vieja, la verdad. Venga, mis pequeñas salvagreses, hay que resolver este misterio. No ha dado resultado. Quizá deba optar por un enfoque más directo. Por ejemplo, abordar sus posibles motivos. Ah, chinga tu madre.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
¿Habla con el comandante esta noche?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him, except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
Usted, Monseñor Gregorio, no se llama muy bien, ¿no?
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make
No.
sense now?
No.
Perfectly.
Perfecto. Semejante hostilidad hacia su hermano trasciende lo puramente fraternal.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Whatever you require, detective.
¿De qué conoce a la víctima?
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Habla usted de una persona que acaba de morir.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
No excuso como me da Monseñor.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Vino por parte de Monseñor de mi no sorpa.
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
Okay.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement.
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so
Y me
urgent?
enganché.
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
Percibo que alega usted cierta rabia hacia el comandante.
Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
Así mencionar comandante y Monseñor se ha puesto automáticamente nervioso y a la defensiva. Entonces, ¿hay visos de negociación con Monseñor de Silva?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gédéon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him.
¿Cuándo vio al comandante por última vez?
Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
More questions, I suppose.
¿Podría describirme su relación con el fallecido?
Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
¿Eh?
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
La regla general es que el comandante no le cayera bien a nadie. Aún no me ha dicho ni un comentario positivo sobre él. ¿Por qué no me habla de su relación con Madame de Bosch?
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even...
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
Ha dicho que hablo con el comandante unas pocas veces. ¿Recuerda sobre qué?
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
¿Eh?
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
Usted como el comandante han apoyado mucho a Madame Van de Bosch. Estos años atrás, ¿no es pa?
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
I meant no offense. I am only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
Me tiene que abordar ese asunto de otra manera. Quizá pueda preguntarle a la condesa.
Merci for your cooperation.
Eso va a acabar peor.
No trouble at all. How can...
Por la unión de sus familias y la relación del comandante con esta casa, supongo que lo conocía bien.
I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother and I quite clear.
And that was not in a positive way.
I certainly wouldn't call trying to get Angeline to postpone the engagement positive.
Antes hablé con su hermano. Desde luego no perdía el tiempo.
What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware of his celebrating with a bottle.
You must be mistaken. Neither my brother nor I drink.
Ay, Dios mío, no he visto un hombre más ciego que en mi vida. No me explico cómo no se ha dado cuenta del estado de embriaguez de su hermano. No hay peor ciego que el que no quiere ver. ¿Cómo describiría la relación con su hermano?
We aren't the closest, but what brothers are?
Ajá. Sí.
I would argue that many are.
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are different. He does not see things the way I do. There isn't much more to say.
Tengo que investigar más al fondo este asunto. Lo retomaré cuando consiga más información para obtener un mínimo de respuesta.
I have lent my voice to some
Que me hable sobre su
I
labor
have
sobre el
tried to
sindicato.
facilitate meetings. Just positive support.
Does that positive support include sending letters to those on the opposing side?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you think I have done.
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter warning him not to get involved means I murdered him?
At this time, it is certainly reason for me to be suspicious.
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment and a wage that fits the hard work they undertake every single day. The Major didn't see that. All he cared about was the money for his services, and that is all I care to discuss.
Parece que Monseñor redactó la carta con nobles intenciones, pero se niega a profundizar en la implicación del comandante.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Pues la verdad es que yo tengo dudas de quién puede ser. Entre este señor, estos tres. No, y el borracho que está allí. Y la vieja, Cassandra Rottenmeier.
I am all yours, detective.
Esto me perturba muchísimo. ¿Reprochó alguna vez al comandante cómo trataba a Madame de Bosch?
Why would I actively choose to speak to that wretched man?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed him to be, there must have been some words spoken, or perhaps written?
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and the lengths he has gone to remain close to the family. That is all that needs to be said.
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of your tongue's wrath, Countess.
Wise thinking, detective.
Supongo que se habrá percatado de usted de la ausencia de Madame de Bosch.
I imagine she will have shed a tear for him, but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want her to?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want her to waste anything further on him.
No sé quién tiene la lengua más visperina, si Madame de Bosch o la condesa. Desde luego se disputa de cerca el primer puesto. ¿Qué me dice sobre la relación entre Madame de Bosch y Monsieur de Silva?
What of it?
Do you believe there was something more to their friendship?
As I have said, detective, I am not one to gossip.
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
Because it is not gossip when it's the truth.
Yo no diría lo mismo, pero es una buena jugada para justificar su lengua viperina, lo admito.
Why else do you think he would stay around for so long? Yes, he was a friend and partner to the Viscount, but it is plain to see it is Cassandra's partnership he longs for.
A comentar que el comandante no se queda despegado de la familia, ¿por qué?
He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power, like most men.
I can assure you not all men are concerned with such egotistical wealth.
That may be, but they are few and far between. I believe you are a special case, Detective Poirot.
It is not the first time I have been described in such a way.
Embrace the compliment, Detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid crétins that seem to somehow make their way into positions of authority and power.
And that is what the Major was doing? Using Madame Van den Bosch as his ladder to the top?
You are finally seeing the man he was. A weak and self-indulgent social climber.
Espera un momentito. momentito, por favor. Ya. La condesa me ha abierto los ojos a las verdaderas ambiciones del comandante con la familia Bosch. Me pregunto si Madame es consciente de su avaricia y su ambición de reconocimiento.
Merci, Countess. If I have any...
Vamos a mirar una cosa. ¿Cuántas de estos son? ¿En dónde está? ¿No hay? Ah, pues no. Pensé que sí.
You came to the right place. What do you need?
¿Qué sabe de la víctima?
I know that he was not the good and honest man he liked to think he was.
In what sense?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be disappointed.
Monsieur Conrad se ha visto venir la pregunta. Sabe perfectamente que decir que no va a ser un hueso duro de roer. Por cómo hablaban, supongo que conocerá bien a Monsieur Becker, ¿me equivoco?
That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like that, something's gonna burst.
Un hombre que se reprime la rabia y un cadáver, hasta que el detective más novato vería la conexión. Ya que parece saber tanto sobre los invitados, ¿qué me puede contar sobre Monsieur da Silva, el comandante y Madame de Bosch?
If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you are sorely mistaken.
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping. At this point, everything may be relevant to my investigation.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat. To say he's smitten is an understatement. I reckon he's been wanting her for years.
I see. Madame does not feel the same?
Doesn't look like it. If she did, she would have said something about it, right?
Sí. ¿Qué opinas sobre la condesa? Agradecería mucho que compartiera sus impresiones conmigo.
I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her I don't think anyone gets to see.
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very expensive dress.
Solo se me ocurren buenas palabras para su trabajo en el refugio de mujeres. Aunque hubiera una motivación egoísta detrás, su labor es
You have
encomiable.
been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Ok. Vamos a hablar con este otra vez. Me ponía ahí.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Todos los invitados están a tanto de su relación con su hermano.
That doesn't surprise me, and yet no one actually asks.
I am asking now.
I should have expected that, shouldn't I? What is there to say? We used to be close, but not so much anymore.
I would find it very helpful if you could at least elaborate on your relationship.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of our father's eye. I went to war. See the difference now.
Básicamente, el hermano de este fue el hijo dorado. Fin. Voy a mencionar su pasado en la guerra. No pretendo infravalorar sus esfuerzos por este país. Me parece que no ha pasado ninguna página aún. Que no logra deshacerse de recuerdos del campo de batalla. Que sabe del trabajo de su hermano en el sindicato.
If you want to know about Gideon's part in the Union,
So, you are aware of his support for them?
yes, well,
Oui, monsieur?
it'd be best to just ask him.
Como si yo no tenía la menor idea de a qué se dedica su hermano, o finge protegerlo.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.